by you
May
or the
your
public
wife and
defender.
kids
Your Honor,
get raped.
I would ask that you would appoint the
Right.
public office.
Maybe you were just born bad. How do
Boy,
you...
I don't know about you. I'm telling you, man. No, I wasn't born bad.
Every story has a beginning. Some are born into love, others into the heart of darkness. Long before Aileen Wuornos became one of America's most infamous female serial killers, she was a forgotten, broken child. 1956, Rochester, Michigan. Aileen Carol Pittman entered the world on February 29th. Her mother was only 15. Her father, a convicted pedophile, took his life in prison. Before she could walk, Aileen was abandoned. She and her brother Keith were placed with their grandparents. Before she ever took her first breath, everything was taken. Her mother, her father, her trust. Her grandmother drank. Her grandfather was abusive. At a young age, Aileen exchanged sex for food, cigarettes, or money. By 11, she was coerced into sexual acts by older boys. An 11-year-old child. No protection at home or on the streets. She became a toy for predatory adults. At 14, she was raped and became pregnant. Her family saw her as disgraceful. Her baby was taken from her and adopted. She was expelled from school, kicked out of her home, and lived in the woods. A girl becomes a mother, but the mother herself was never mothered. By 15, she was homeless. She lived in cars, slept in shelters, entered sex work sometimes by choice, more often out of necessity. Her first arrest came during this time: disorderly conduct, profanity, and vagrancy. A child of the streets learns to live by street law. And on the streets, justice doesn't exist, only survival. There's surviving, and then there's becoming someone the world fears. On the streets, Aileen wasn't just invisible, she was adapting. She mastered reading people, provoking, flirting, vanishing, intimidating. She crafted a persona, wild, magnetic, unpredictable. She told stories to strangers' claims of fame, fortune, adventure. Reality blurred, but her confidence soared. Her relationships turned volatile. Aileen could charm or erupt in seconds. Soon, police reports shifted from petty theft to violent outbursts, bar fights, threats, assault charges. She began carrying a weapon, not just to protect, but to control. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was building armor. Every arrest, every scar a new layer. Trust wasn't broken. It was weaponized. She struck first. She never asked questions. She always expected betrayal. And then came the choice. Aileen, who had started life 10 steps behind, didn't climb toward zero. She dove deeper, into the dark, into vengeance, into fury. Aileen had stopped seeing herself as a victim. She now saw herself as a force. She had spent her life running from danger. Now she became it. By the late 1980s, Aileen was no longer just a drifter or sex worker. She was armed, erratic, and full of rage. In 1989, her life took a deadly turn. Her first victim, Richard Mallory, a 51-year-old electronics store owner. They met on the highway. She claimed he assaulted her. He never survived the night. Mallory's body was found days later, shot multiple times. Aileen took his car, belongings, and vanished. Over the next year, 6 more men were found dead, all shot with the same weapon, left on roadsides, stripped of identity. Names like David Spears, Charles Carskadden, Troy Burris, Walter Antonio, each traveling alone, each last seen with a blonde hitchhiker. Authorities were stunned. Female serial killers were extremely rare, especially those who struck with such precision and brutality. Aileen wasn't hiding. She lived in motels, drank at dive bars, spent money fast. It wasn't a hunt. It was a purge. Each man she killed, she saw as another piece of her past coming back to hurt her. She told her partner, Tyria Moore, that the murders were self-defense. But the crime scenes said otherwise. Aileen was spiraling, fast, and the highways of Florida had become her hunting ground. Her name had whispered through truck stops and bar rooms. But now, it echoed through headlines. January 1991, Aileen Wuornos was arrested in a biker bar in Florida. She was charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder. The media swarmed, painting her as America's first female serial killer. The public was divided. Was she a monster or a product of society's failure? Prosecutors called her cold-blooded, calculated, remorseless. But Aileen claimed every killing was self-defense. She said they had tried to rape her, hurt her, kill her, and she chose to fight back with bullets. Her partner, Tyria Moore, testified against her in exchange for immunity. Aileen was convicted and sentenced to death. Inside the courtroom, she raged, wept, screamed. In interviews, she spiraled deeper, claiming government conspiracies. It wasn't justice, she said. It was slaughter. She had once feared the system. Now she faced its final judgment. On October 9, 2002, Aileen Wuornos was executed by lethal injection.
And he said I did the most horrendous crime in the whole wide world.
Not true?
I guess not. All they were was shot and left. If it was a horrendous crime, why didn't I shoot them between the eyes, cut their penis off, stick it in their mouth, do all kinds of gross stuff?
We were sitting on the floor watching TV, and she just come out and said, I have something to tell you. And I asked her what, and she said that she had shot and killed a man that day.
Lee, it sounds like you've been betrayed by everyone.
That's right, I was. That's why I don't care if I'm executed and leave this planet. I wasn't too high priced, so I could keep my customers satisfied and,
Maybe you were just born bad. How do
Boy,
you...
I don't know about you. I'm telling you, man. No, I wasn't born bad. You guys got it. See, I'm trying to tell you, man, they lied. They lied so bad to you all.
But you've been convicted of killing 7 men.
Everybody's looking at the number.
Does that not... You
Why look
killed
at the
7
number?
men, 7 strangers. Does that not make you a serial killer?
So I didn't kill them every day, did I? Did I go out there every day and say, I'm gonna kill? If I did, there would
Well,
be
no,
hundreds.
it took you 12 months.
Yeah, and that's a hell of a lot of men I went through before the next jerk came along and I used protection.
It was self-defense.
Yeah.
Lee, the first one, perhaps. The second, maybe. But
So what?
7 times?
So what? Making me get bitter, evil, angry. I've never been before in my life. Worse than even out there with those men. This is evil, what those people have done to me.
Do you feel anger or even hatred towards men?
I never hated men, but now I do.
By you
Now,
with the
your
public
wife and
defender.
kids get raped.
I would ask that you would point
Right.
to the public's office.
Do you want to die? You want to...
Oh man, if I was to leave this planet, it wouldn't be no big deal to me, because this is a wicked, wicked world. Wicked world.